Middle finger to my haters. Are you bitch jealous? Fuck yeah. Been knew I was.
So this is a really bizarre video, and I'm going to pick it apart here a little bit, not because I think this woman can be helped, right, but because I think it's useful for you and I to kind of understand like how she got to where she is. So 2 years ago, on the first year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there was a summit to discuss it in Europe. And at that summit, Zelensky took questions for 3 hours from international reporters. A little over 2 hours into that Q&A that Zelensky was doing with the international press, an American reporter asked Zelensky, hey, opinion polls show people in the United States not comfortable with the amount of military aid we're providing Ukraine. What would you say to them? Like, what is a reason why those people in particular maybe would want to change their mind? Zelensky gives a 3-minute long response, and I'm going to put the whole clip at the end of this video. But short version is, Zelensky starts off by thanking the United States. There you go, JD. Then he gives kind of like the appeal to right and wrong response, as in like, I hope the Americans would understand Ukrainians want to live like free people, just like Americans want to live like free people, and you'd see value in just that. But then Zelensky gives the more material answer, which is, well, if Russia sees that it can get away with invading Ukraine and the world isn't going to respond, then I think Russia will one day try to invade or steal territory or attack on a NATO country. And then Zelensky factually, accurately points out that that would mean the United States is agreeing to fight Russia. The way NATO works is an attack on one NATO member is an attack on all. The agreement is that all of us countries, we're going to call ourselves NATO, and if one of us gets attacked, then all of us are going to come to each other's aid. That's the way it always worked. And also, I'll point out that that's called Article 5 of NATO. That's only been invoked once. You know who invoked it? Us, the United States, after 9/11. The only time that we've ever said an attack on one is an attack on all, it was benefiting us. But anyway, Zelensky's right. If the United States is a NATO member, Russia invades a NATO country, that means American soldiers are going to have to go fight and die. And wouldn't it be better to teach Putin a lesson up front now and prevent World War III from happening a generation down the road? Now, there's this viral post that makes the rounds on conservative Twitter every once in a while where someone takes that 3-minute response video and clips it down just to the sentence where Zelensky says, American soldiers are going to have to fight and die. So the woman I'm stitching, she's just seen the bit where it says, like, the U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way we are sending our sons and daughters. But this woman has not seen the bit of the clip where he goes on to say, and they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying, God forbid, because it's a horrible thing. I wish peace and Ukrainian support in the United States. But that's neither here nor there. If this woman had applied a little bit of common sense, she would have never posted this TikTok and like spread this bit of Russian propaganda and misinformation. Like, does it really make sense that the leader of a smaller country can just like demand that the United States send soldiers to their country? I mean, if that were true, then like, wouldn't like the leaders of like Sudan and Congo and Palestine be on TV saying, well, the Americans are just going to have to send soldiers. They're just going to have to fight and die in my country like my people. Right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Another little bit of common sense media literacy thing. The clip that woman saw on conservative Twitter would have been like less than 20 seconds long of Zelensky saying just like those 2-3 sentences, whatever it is. But the answer he gives to the question is like over 3 minutes long, right? So if you're seeing a 20-second long clip that's cut out of a 3.5-minute video, that means that there's like 3 minutes and 10 seconds of stuff that they didn't want you to see, right? Like, why not just post the whole thing? So I originally left some comments on this lady's videos, and in typical kind of MAGA-minded fashion, there's no material response, right? She just performs angry, right? She just acts like she's mad that I push back against this one video. And that, I think, is like cohesive with like the right-wing kind of mindset in America, where in their minds, they turn toward authorities to establish truth, whereas the rest of America, we turn toward truth to establish authorities. So for her, it doesn't matter what is true or not true, what is reality or non-reality. What matters is, can she make it feel to her like I am not an authority figure, right? So making fun of me takes down my clout, my status as an authority figure, and that makes the things I say not true. Right? Because in her psychology, authority establishes truth. It doesn't matter if the truth is on my side. Anyway, like I said, I don't think reaching this woman is possible, right? But I do think understanding kind of like the series of follies that got her to the point where she's posting that, like doing a free service for like Russian propaganda, right? I think it's helpful to think about and understand how that happens. Okay, as promised, here's the full clip.
Mr. President, opinion polls in the United States are suggesting that a growing number of Americans believe that the US is giving too much support to Ukraine. What would your message be on the anniversary to those Americans? Thank you.
I would like to thank the American people. I would like to thank all of the American people that are supporting Ukraine, the Congress, the President, the TV channels, the journalists, and everyone that has been supporting us. And that percentage of Americans, as you've mentioned, is increasing. I can tell them only one thing. If they do not change their opinion, if they do not understand us, if they do not support Ukraine, they will lose NATO, they will lose the clout of the United States, they will lose the leadership position that they are enjoying in the world, that they are enjoying for a very fair reason, and they will lose the support of the country with 40 million of population, with millions of children. Are American children any different than ours? Don't Americans enjoy the same things as we do? I don't think we're that different. And I'm actually very happy that we have bipartisan support, but we keep hearing those messages from time to time, and they're dangerous. There are political leaders that are elected by people, and if this issue is raised, those political leaders need to be responsible and cautious because people are looking at them. Who wants a third world war? Would anyone would anyone be willing to accept that risk? The U.S. is never going to give up on the NATO member states. If it happens so that Ukraine, due to various opinions and weakening and depleting of assistance, loses, Russia is going to enter Baltic states, NATO member states, and then the U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying, God forbid, because it's a horrible thing. I wish peace and Ukrainian support to the United States. TV4, Sweden.